Sounds fun.
3, 2, hello, one and all. Welcome back. It is once again another Monday night here at IR Bad at Games, and we are back with what will either be the ultimate episode of Steins Gate Zero or the penultimate, depending. I don't remember how long this last route is, and I think we got a good bit ways through last time, but I am uncertain. If we do manage to close it out tonight, I have a little surprise at the end. But if it doesn't happen till the next time we come back to it, well, we'll save it for then. But yeah, we are back here. We are on. We've gone through all the routes now, but well, we're not doing the bad route. So we're on the last route, which is the Mayuri route. We traded some old ground stuff, basically a lot of stuff that's happened and stuff that's already been hinted at from other routes that we learned about, like with the laptop and Kagari and all this stuff. We're just seeing it from another perspective now. The two choices that led to the route we're on now, one was way back in the beginning. Instead of ignoring Kurisu, Amadeus Kurisu, and turning our phone off, we instead answered and left the phone on, which led to going down a path that sent us into the future for a little bit, where we saw a lot of active, this is like the beginning part of World War III, where Okabe and a bunch of other people were being tracked down because of this strange form of encephalitis, which let them see other worlds. And then they talked about Russia and Putin and all this stuff. Yeah, but
look up Perestroika.
Perestroika, yeah. But Okabe realizes that this has happened because Russia is now playing around with their time machine, and they went back and stopped the fall of the Soviet Union, and that's what led to that future. And then somehow, we don't know how, he got shunted back to the original time. Well, not the original time, but the timeline he was on, the world line he was on. And that is when we had some more interactions.
Well, so we got back. Things were cool, but Fubuki was in the hospital.
Fubuki was in the hospital. Fubuki has
came back like months after.
About a month after, yeah.
Blacked out. A month after.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, well, not months, but yeah, so we had blacked out at the party, but then came to that world line.
Yeah.
A month after the event where we skipped out from ours. And yeah, Fubuki had been in the hospital the whole time, and we kind of confirmed that she does have the Stein, a bit of reading Steinar too.
Yeah. We had an altercation with Suzuha, who pointed a gun at us and shot at us because the world line changed, and we had to convince her that everything was still good. We were still good.
Did she shoot at us?
She did shoot, yeah.
Was that when did that happen?
Wait, maybe
sequence wise was that the session before last, or maybe that was last session? I'm fuzzy.
Yeah, honestly. I know. And she's pointed the gun at us twice now. Anyway,
yeah. Technically, and one of those times it was after this. I'm sure.
Yeah. Anyway. And then I think the last bit of sequences we went through, we were Maho was getting ready to leave to go back to the U.S. And so we were walking around Akihabara on her last day, and she's like, she wants to see where Kurisu died, so we took her there. Then she confides in us about having the laptop, which then we go and see Daru, who's trying to break it open. And then this is where the second pivot point happens, where Kurisu calls, and we choose not to answer this time, because if you answer that phone call, that sends you down the bad route. Not answering the phone call leads us to the route we're on now, where some men chase us out of Daru's secret lab thing he's got going on. We get into the alleyway. Moeka is there and some rounders, apparently. And that is where we're picking up at. So, hope you caught all that.
Yeah. We got away from the rounders I thought
That's where we stopped. We're in the middle of it now.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. That's right.
All right, here we go. Just when I was about to give up, a black van pulled up and braked hard at one end of the alley, blocking us. The sliding door opened and out poured men carrying assault rifles. They were all wearing gray military uniforms and face masks. Their eyes were
Jesus.
the eyes of trained soldiers. Yeah, I know, right? From their huge frame, I was going to say something I elected not to.
Yeah.
From their huge frames and the color of their skin, it was clear that they weren't Japanese. I immediately realized that this was all real. It wasn't cosplay or anything like that. Those guns were real, and a battle was about to begin. My experience with the August 13th attack and the war zone I'd lived in until only a few days ago came back to me. Everyone, hide! It didn't matter who was friend or foe. Moeka moved the instant I spoke. She saw the attackers and jumped into the shadow of a nearby building. The other rounders spread out too. They let go of Maho, who was standing up, confused, in the middle of the alley. Maho, get down! The man who was holding me was the only one who reacted a bit too slowly. There was a sharp noise and a bullet went through the helmet of the rounder who was holding a knife to my throat. As he went down, I went down with him and I hit the ground hard. Ugh! The impact made me let go of Daru's backpack. One of the other rounders grabbed it off the ground and ran in the opposite direction of the van. A man got out of the van, evidently the commander, and barked orders in what sounded like Russian. One of the soldiers turned their gun on the fleeing rounder. The rounder's body flew up off the ground as both he and the backpack were torn open. The contents of the backpack fell to the ground, scattering across the asphalt. The laptop and hard drive were hit with more gunfire than possibly could have been necessary. Creasy's laptop and hard drive were turned into unrecognizable scrap in just a few seconds. Crawled behind a light pole without even bothering to look. It really all happened in an instant. I looked around and the Russians...
That can't be good then, right?
Probably not. I looked around and the Russian soldiers were running towards us. Moeka and her rounders had vanished at some point, leaving only the two bodies. The soldiers silently recovered the remains of the laptop and hard disk, picked up the bodies of the two rounders, and got right back in their van. They didn't even pause to look at us. There were only a couple of minutes between the time when they arrived and when they left. All that were left were little fragments lying on the ground. The blood from the two bodies. Maho, who was lying on the ground shaking. Daru, who was standing in shock behind one of the buildings. And me, lying on the ground. My heart had been pounding the whole time. I only felt the pain in my neck after it was all over. Evidently, the knife had cut me a little. A while later, we finally heard the sirens of a police car. And it was only then that I remembered I was in Akihabara, Japan. World War III may have started... World War III may have started long ago, and we just didn't know it. I realized that in the face of a war between nations, we were truly powerless. Akihabara was in an uproar. There were lots of helicopters in the sky that probably belonged to the media. We escaped to the lab, making sure that no one was following us.
I mean, they could wait for the cops, right?
They could. They elected
I guess
not
you
to.
wouldn't want to.
Probably. Well, here they go.
Yeah,
it hadn't,
you know what? No.
It hadn't been that long since we were attacked at the hotel. If the cops found us at the scene of another crime like that, they'd be suspicious for sure. So we ran before the police arrived. Suzuha wasn't at the lab. Maybe she'd sensed what was going on and went to check on the time machine. We held our breath and waited. Felt like if we let anyone... Oh, hit the wrong button. It felt like if we let anyone know we were here, more scary people would burst down the door and charge in.
Ishida-san, do you have any towels here? Yeah, in the washroom.
Maho nodded and brought a new towel. She handed it to me.
Akabe-san, your neck's bleeding. Put this on it.
Huh? My neck was wet with blood. Fortunately, it wasn't a deep wound, though it wasn't long. After handing me the towel, Maho sat down right on the floor and didn't move. I knew how she felt, especially since it's the second time she'd been attacked. And this time, people had died right in front of her. Hey, Aho-san.
First time. He's just got a lot of experience in this
Yeah.
kind of thing. That's all. It's like much more jaded to the whole. Oh yeah, people just getting shot down. Damn it, not again. Another bad world line. Yeah.
She nodded hesitantly. Her face was deathly pale, and I realized that she'd been clutching her left hand into a fist this whole time, and there was blood coming out of it. Oh, this might be the route with the scene in it.
Holding on to.
I think this is the route with the scene in it.
Nice.
You get hurt? Show me.
Huh? Oh.
Evidently, she hadn't noticed she'd hurt. She was looking at her left hand, confused.
Huh?
Wrong.
My fingers won't move. That's strange.
Maho had been holding some small fragment in her left hand. Her hand had frozen around it and wouldn't move. Soon it started to shake. I grabbed her hand and forced open her fingers one by one. Whatever it was, she'd been clutching it so tightly that she'd cut off the blood flow to her fingers. They were very cold. When I finally forced her hand open, the thing she was holding on to fell to the floor. What was it? I picked it up. It was a red piece of magnesium alloy. It was a piece of Karisu's laptop. She must have grabbed it off the ground when she was running away. If she held some
those carbon fiber fucking splinters.
Oh god, yeah. She held something so sharp tightly for so long, of course she was going to bleed.
If it's magnesium alloy, it might just be like a regular piece of like plate of metal. I have no idea.
Turned it to Maho without a word. She took the broken fragment and cradled it in her hands and stared at it with it. Suddenly, a single line of tears dripped. She cried. Kept crying. After that, it didn't stop. Continued to sob.
Karisu, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I couldn't protect you. I'm so sorry.
It was as if that tiny fragment was herself. She held it to her chest and crying. I'm sure Carice feels
Huh?
glad you're safe. But you don't need to apologize. Nothing. She didn't respond. Oh, hold on, I got a phone call. Oh, wait, it's not mine. The phone started to vibrate.
It was hers. Oh my god. I was like, shit, what is it? What did I fuck up? Oh god, it's 15 minutes till my show's air. Oh no. Full panic. It's cool. We're good. Oh, it's mine.
Mom took out her cell phone and looked at the message she received.
Beat it up, Maho. Say it sooner so I don't freak out. God. It's from Dr. Leskinen.
Wrong.
He says the office and the hotels were ransacked. His and mine. They're a mess, he says.
Whether it was the Rounders, the Russians, or whoever had first surrounded the cosplay, they must have been after Carisu's laptop. There's no backup of that data, of that computer's data, right?
Daru. That's right.
Then this is for the best. What Carisu left behind won't be used as a tool to kill billions of people.
The Russians wanted it destroyed.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Because they got the only time machine now.
Right, but that's what it's...
In the end, I got what I wished for. The data was destroyed before anyone got their hands on it. There was so little left that I was sure there would be no way to restore it.
But couldn't they just have their own Karisu over there? Probably. Because like of the time, the brainwave machine and the time track. I you know, if if the bad guys want it, that's a bad thing.
I agree.
Yeah. Wait. Why the here we go. Just give it a sec and it'll explain. I kind of, ease that. Anyway, why'd the Russians destroy that computer? Didn't they want to get their hands on it?
Russia's the lead in the race for the time machine. Right? From their perspective, it'd be great if they could get the laptop, but they'd probably rather destroy it than let someone else get their hands on it. Right? They probably wanted to avoid a protracted gunfight with the Rounders in broad daylight in Japan.
I don't know. They shot a lot of bullets still.
Yeah, the cold way they made the
More
decisions.
Than possibly necessary.
Yeah, made me shiver. They really were professional soldiers. An amateur couldn't do that.
So, what do we do now?
I'd rather not stay here if I can avoid it. Russia might not know about this, but Vega might. Vega does. What are you talking about? If the Rounders were on the move, then Tanuji downstairs might be involved, too. We'll move at sunset.
Yeah, you did kind of go right above the head of the Rounders to hide out. I didn't think about it, but that seems like a bad play, actually.
Would have been great if Suzuha had come back, but I couldn't get in touch with her.
Well, I wonder if she's not thinking, well, I should be as far away from the head of the Rounders as possible.
Maho was sinking into a warm bathtub. She could finally feel blood flowing through her body again. The heat melted the tension away from her muscles. Injured hand hurt a little, but it wasn't unbearable. She felt like she'd come back to life. Once the sun had set, Maho and Rintaro had gone to Ferris, the cat-eared maid at May Queen plus Neon Squared, for help. Ferris's home was at the top of a high-rise condo building on prime Akihabara real estate. From a security perspective, it was superior to the Future Gadget Lab in every way imaginable. Ferris welcomed the two of them, offering them food and a place to sleep. And now, she'd even offered them a bath. Maho was a little worried about Hashidetaru. He'd insisted on staying to wait for his younger sister, Suzuha, and remained alone at the Future Gadget Lab. More than an hour had passed. Had Rintaro heard anything? And even if they'd moved, that didn't mean this place was safe. The group from this afternoon could attack at any time. She couldn't help but feel nervous, and that made her feel terrified and vulnerable as she sat naked in the bathtub. She got out of the bathtub and hurried to the changing room to wipe herself down. She tried to put on a change of underwear Ferris had given her.
This is going to be something weird.
And her hand started to shake. Then her knees buckled and she fell to the ground.
This extreme muscle relaxation after a period of elevated tension and then sudden release.
She tried to stay calm.
Adrenaline dump.
Yeah. She tried to stay calm by analyzing herself, but that didn't mean she could do anything but lie down.
There's a Picasso that pose reminds me of.
Oh, yeah.
Lady cuddling in a corner kind of thing. He's bad. It's also a weird rendering of someone who has a child's body in the nude, which I'm not a super big fan of.
Alarm bells were going off in her head. She'd just about given up, knowing that it would pass with time when Ferris popped her head in.
Meow, Nan. How's the what? Meow.
Ferris screamed and started to panic when she saw Maho naked and lying on the floor.
Oh no, Nya. In the heat of the moment. Still on the Nya.
Yeah. Never gives it up.
Never stop. Yeah. Well, look, at this point, I respect the dedication. I don't know
And
what else to
also,
do with it.
in her house, still wearing full winter garment.
This is a private home. She gets to do it's, you know what? Yeah. Hey, fucking live it, I guess. She's going to die. Mahonyan's going to die. No, it's fine. Well, yeah.
Maho's voice
Trying to
was,
really calm people down when you're like having a
yeah.
panic. It's like, no, just fuck off. Leave me alone.
Maho's voice was
Go
so
away.
weak that Ferris didn't even hear her.
I need to get her to the bed.
Ferris tried to pick up the naked Maho and then slipped and dropped her.
Fucking yakety sex. Yeah. No, wrong voice. Whatever.
Maho
Oh.
hit the back of her head on the floor. She saw little
Don't want
stars
that.
dancing across her field of vision.
You definitely don't want that. Yeah. Han Yan, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Han Yan, yeah. I'm so sorry. I usually don't have to work that hard to make my way through syllables and actually read words.
Oh, man. Sprawling naked on the floor, face up, Maho tried to force herself to stand, but her arms were too.
Listen, this will pass soon.
But Ferris wasn't listening. For some reason, she decided to reach around Maho from behind and try to drag her up.
Oh no.
And then Rintaro must have heard Ferris scream because he ran in.
Cool.
What's wrong, Ferris?
Yeah. She's unconscious as far as you're aware. They'll like grow up.
She wanted to scream, but all that came out was a tiny whimper. I'm really sorry. I mean it. Rintaro lowered his head deeply towards Maho as she lay on the bed.
You don't need to apologize. It was an accident.
But she still couldn't bear the look of. Just remembering the despair and embarrassment she felt when he saw her naked body made her want to bury her head in a pillow and flail her legs back and forth. To make matters worse, she still hadn't been able to stand up after all that. Taro had been forced to carry her to the bed. She'd never been touched by a boy before, and so it was only today that she realized how rugged male arms were. Being carried was extremely uncomfortable, to the point where she'd squirmed around and almost slipped out of his arms. So she had no choice but to curl herself into a ball and let Rintaro do whatever he wanted with her, which made her feel really strange. And now she couldn't even bear to look at his face.
Yeah. It was my fault for panicking like that. Yes.
Ferris was sitting next to Rintaro, feet under her knees with her shoulders slumped.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry for scaring you, in fact.
Are you okay? Don't need to go to a hospital?
Took a solid bonk on the noggin there.
Yeah, for real.
Don't let her go to sleep, in fact. Make sure she's good. All the tension caught up with me, that's all. I'll be fine with a bit more rest, I think. I must have really worried you. I'm so embarrassed.
There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Anyone would be scared after what happened today. Anyone would feel sick. Yeah, of course.
Just like, the shock wears off after the first couple dozen times.
Yeah.
I see. Get some rest for now, yeah. You can think about what happened and what you're going to do next after you're feeling better. That's right. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Thank you. No.
Maho closed her
Nope.
eyes. The,
No.
the lights went
Bad.
the lights went out, and Rentaro and Ferris left the room.
Nobody confirmed she doesn't have a concussion at all. This is not a good thing. There could be swelling in the brain happening right now.
She lay on the bed and tried not to think about anything.
Fucking heartbeat and shit.
You could hear the pounding of her heart. It would get louder and then softer. Rhythm was, and
Called
she
edema.
and she could hear a kind of static noise mixed in with her heartbeat, like a broken TV. Was it exhaustion-induced tinnitus?
Oh my god, does she actually have a bleed in her brain?
Whatever it was, once she noticed it, she couldn't sleep.
I think that Akabe-san said he was taking some tranquilizers. Did he?
She wasn't supposed to do this, but if she looked at their ingredients, she could tell what medications had what effect. Should she take a look and have him lend her some? If that wasn't possible, she could at least get some over-the-counter antihistamines to use as a sleep aid. She turned over. Yeah, go ahead.
A woman in a riding suit. Don't yell. Do what they tell you. Otherwise, you're dead.
Suddenly, she heard a voice break through the unpleasant noise. She gulped and leapt out of bed. Terror-stricken Maho tried to crawl to the door, but her legs wouldn't move like she wanted to. She couldn't stand up. The voice in her ears followed her wherever she went. It was like a wild animal toying with its prey. All the hairs on her body were standing up on end. Her jaw was chattering so hard that she bit her tongue. She desperately crawled across the carpet towards the door.
Edema is the wrong word for the brain bleed. Sorry. Do I have to kill one of you? I had to look at
I got you. I figured.
Like, wait a minute, that's wrong. It's not an embolism either. It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. Stop. No. No.
Hey.
Oh, is she dreaming?
Yaho-san! She woke up to find herself being violently shaken by the shoulders. She looked around the room, panting. She was in bed, and Rentaro was looking down at her. Her whole body was sweaty, and she felt sick. There was a burning sensation deep in her stomach. What's wrong?
But someone's here.
Rentaro looked around. Ferris came a moment later, as well as the older man who was her butler. Gotcha. But they were simply standing at the entrance of the room. I'm sure it was just a bad dream. The antique clock on the shelf said that at some point it had gotten past him. She must have slept for hours without realizing.
Not good.
Yeah.
Dread trauma, folks. You know, make sure they're not dying of some sort of horrible brain trauma before you let them sleep. Yeah, you're right. I guess it was just a dream.
She took a painful breath and wiped the sweat off her forehead without realizing it sounded just like oh. She sent Ferris and the butler back to the room. Rentaro brought her a towel from the washroom. Really sweating. She did as he said and wiped the beads of sweat off her face, her chest, her lips. As she was deciding whether or not to wipe the inside of her pajamas, Rentaro took the hint. I'm going back to my room. Call me anytime you need something. Hmm?
Sushida-san?
Oh, got word. He met up with Suzuha.
I see.
Good night. Rintaro was about to leave her bedside, but Maho, and she couldn't believe she was doing this, reached out and grabbed the hem of his shirt without.
Well, wait,
Hmm?
please. It doesn't have to be for long. Just stay here.
Oh, son.
Don't leave me alone.
Maho was surprised by the words she was saying, but the thought of spending this terrible night all by herself was too much for her. Rintaro must have understood how she felt because he nodded without smiling. Fine.
Thanks. Sorry for asking you to do this.
I had a hell of a time myself.
And
I'll
now I'm back awake again, so thanks.
I'll turn around so at least wipe the sweat off. While Rintaro stared back at the door, she took off her pajamas, off the thick layer of sweat that covered her body. She tried to put her pajamas on again, but they were too drenched for her to want to wear them. She had no choice but to dive back under the covers in nothing but her underwear, bring the comforter way above her chest.
It's okay now.
Amidst the dim glow of the nightlight, Rintaro brought a chair to the side of the bed and sat. "Oh, watching over you right here, so don't worry about a thing. You know you'll be safe, right?" Worried?
No, I'm fine.
Maho's face felt hot from some feeling that she didn't understand. She sank deeper under the blankets and turned away from Rintaro. She softly closed her eyes. She could feel his presence behind her. Two of them stopped talking. The only noise was the distant sound of night coming from the curtain. How long did they spend like that? Just as she was about to fall into a light sleep, she heard a soft voice in her.
Mm, yeah.
She felt herself waking up. She opened her eyes and turned to Rintaro, only to see him staring towards the window. It was as if he was trying to see some sight that beyond it. His profile is so handsome. For some reason, that was the thought that came to her.
What's wrong?
Rintaro seemed unwilling to talk, so Maho decided to speak. He swallowed loudly. "I really meant to tell you this a lot, but I
Okay.
didn't have.
Oh boy.
Sorry."
What are you talking about?
I was telling you how we get to.
Okay.
I there's one
One thing.
thing I haven't
Okay, Columbo.
told. Maho leaned forward, not caring that he might see her chest. I I told you about the other world line I met there, about the time machine, time leaps, about Karika, her dad. And there's actually one more thing. I just couldn't. His head was slumping forward in the chair. Maho waited silently. Despite the late hour, she heard a helicopter in the distance. For some reason, it sounded really loud. She hadn't seen the news, but it was possible that the media was still talking about the gun battle. That
Coming for
something I tell you and you. When he finally spoke, his expression was unlike any look she'd ever seen on his face before. It was pained, sad, and suffering, like someone at the bottom of a deep, dark place. And yet there was something in his eyes that hinted at incredible self-hatred and rage.
Kanbei-san?
Suddenly her chest felt like it was about to burst from pain. She didn't know where the pain was coming from, but she wanted Rintaro to stop looking like that. That day, at Radicon, one who the one who killed Karisu was.
There's got to be a better way to do this.
His hands were forming some kind of shape, like he was holding an invisible knife. Karisu.
Enough.
She screamed, unable to take it anymore.
Oh, I probably should have read that it was more enthusiastic.
She rolled out of bed, forgetting how she was dressed, and covered Rintaro's hands with her arm.
That's enough. Enough. You don't need to say any more. I believe you, so you don't need to tell me. Someday, when the time comes, I'm going to make sure to make you tell me whether you want to or not. But that time isn't now. Until that time comes, keep your mouth shut. Seriously, though. What's the benefit? Who does this help?
She strengthened She strengthened her grip and forced him to let go of the invisible knife. Rintaro nodded without saying a word. They simply stared at each other for a while. Maho couldn't look away from his gaze. It was as if he was clinging to something, wandering in search of salvation.
He needs to tell someone so he's not holding it alone. Chew.
Sneezed. Door. Cold. And it was only then that she realized that she was holding Rintaro's hands while wearing next to nothing. Rintaro looked a little embarrassed.
That's a pretty slick way of responding to, like, oh God, you're gonna get cold. I'm sorry.
She quickly jumped back in the blankets. She curled up into a ball and tore at her hair, screaming inside her mind. She let a boy see her naked not once, but twice.
You're 20 fucking what? This time, I'm going to bed.
Sorry for bothering you.
You're not bothering me at all. But never bring that up again, okay? Don't you fucking dare. Okay?
Thanks. Thanks, Yahoo.
I haven't done anything that you should thank me for. Anyway, good night.
Oh, he tried to tell her. The room got quiet again. The adrenaline rush kept.
Was that the scene you were talking about? Okay.
The adrenaline rush kept Maho awake. For a while, she heard snores coming from Rintaro's direction. Evidently, he'd fallen asleep. He must have been tired. He went through the same attack that Maho had. Of course he was. His breathing wasn't peaceful at all. Pained. He may have been in the grip of some terrible nightmare.
Sleep apnea.
Yeah. Maho hesitated several times, but finally she turned over and stretched out her hand from the blankets. She softly touched the backside of her hand. She felt its warmth on her fingertips.
Don't be weird, Maho. What did Karisu call you, I wonder? Akabe-san? Or was it Rintaro, maybe?
She didn't know, but it didn't matter.
Akabe Rintaro. There it is.
Oh.
Is the man I fell in love with really that weak?
She tried to think about how Karisu. Oh, she tried to think about how Karisu would say those words. And eventually, Rintaro's breathing started to become more peaceful. Relieved, she let go, and then she changed her mind and grabbed the hem of his shirt again. Felt embarrassed, kid, but at the same time, she felt like now she might not have any more. That night, for the first time in a very long while, she dreamed of a smiling Karisu. Back to Okabe. Maho and I stayed at Ferris's house days after. Now that Carisu's computer was destroyed, the odds that anyone would come after us had gone way down, but there was still a chance. Just to be extra careful, stayed away from the lab. Maho! Lindalo! Dr. Leskinen looked a little thinner since the last time I'd seen him.
Tessa, I'm so glad you're safe.
You too, Maho. Sounds like you had a rough time.
Some cranial trauma.
Dr. Leskinen held Maho tightly in his huge arms. The difference in size between them was so great that Maho looked like some kind of stuffed animal.
Professor, that hurts. You're hurting me.
Dr. Leskinen and Maho were leaving the country in the afternoon on a weekday, so I was the only one who could see them off. Since I'd been with Maho the whole time, instead of only seeing them off, I'd actually just brought her there. Maho, after all, was the kind of person who was incapable of getting to an airport on her own. I was amazed she survived this long, given her lack of basic skills. We held Maho's goodbye party last night at Ferris's house. Ferris was there, and so were Mayuri and Daru, and the others from the Christmas party. All were sad to see her go.
I think people can't make it to an airport on their own. What's that about?
Lindalo.
I mean, like functional members of whatever.
Thanks for staying with Maho. You've really been a great help. Oh. So, when can you come to my lab? Huh? He wasn't kidding about that, huh? I'll study hard so I can go as soon as possible. Can I contact you when I'm ready? Of course. I'll be waiting. He smiled as he took my hand and shook it. I was really glad to hear it. After meeting Amadeus, my desire to go to Victor Condry had only increased.
Let me say thanks, Okabe-san. Really. If it weren't for you, I might not even be alive right now.
You're exaggerating.
No, I mean it. I'm really grateful. I'll be waiting for you, so do your best.
Yeah, you too. Good luck with your research. So, Lintalo, as we discussed previously, I'm going to be revoking your access rights for Amadeus today. Tough shit. That's fine, right?
NBD.
Evidently, they couldn't leave me with access to Amadeus after they left the country. I was only supposed to test her during their stay here anyway. Want to say a final goodbye to Karisu? Yeah, you're right. Can I say something to her quick? Of course. I tapped the icon for Amadeus.
What? Do I get a goodbye too?
Parisi was expressionless. Guess so. Do you not need one?
You said goodbye to Maho Senpai before me, right? Sorry, what? He did.
Maho interjected before I could speak.
I hope so.
Parisi was inside my screen. Was it a good thing that I'd spoken to her like this? Or a bad thing? In the end, I knew I needed to forget about Makise Karisu. I couldn't escape from this curse. Once I lose access rights, we won't be able to see each other anymore, will we?
Well, I am slightly grateful you gave me someone to talk to. There's a chance you're coming to Dr. Leskinen's lab, right? I'll make sure to remember you until we meet again.
You're such a tsundere.
For real, though. Tsundere? What's that? Don't use words I don't understand.
You liar.
Right? Yeah.
Then why is your face red?
Good God, nerd. She's blushing.
Harisu is just very shy.
Jeez. Not you too, Professor.
Stay healthy. Well, that's probably not the right way. You don't get sick. I guess don't tease Yahoo-san too much.
Right, right. You don't need to tell me. I already know. I hope someday your smile doesn't look so sad. Damn.
Yeah, that's a rough line there.
Yeah, like, stop. Ow, please. I hope someday you can smile for real.
I guess even an AI could see right through me. Akise Kurisu really was one hell of a woman.
Bye.
Kurisu disappeared
Dick.
from my screen. I turned to Dr. Leskinen and nodded, deleting the Amadeus icon.
You just faked him out.
We'll handle the paperwork for the access revocation on our own later. Thanks for your help with the testing.
Delete icon instead of uninstall
Yeah.
or whatever.
Thanks for your help with the testing. We've got some really valuable data. No, thank you. I bowed deeply to both Maho and Dr. Leskinen. As I watched their plane take off into the distance, I noticed that it felt like there was a hole in my heart. I clutched my phone tightly. Connection to Amadeus was gone. And now, Vega and recognition of the elastic limit. Presage of recognition. There's another chapter.
Did we break it?
No, we didn't break it. It's just there's a chapter before the last one, I guess.
To the end yet.
Probably not going to finish it today.
I see. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Kagari-chan, from now on, you're officially my daughter. This was when Kagari was 6. She'd been living in a facility for war orphans and getting treatment at a dedicated clinic next door. It was a completely different place from the normal hospitals, which were overflowing with casualties from the war. It was an idyllic garden, shut off from the despair of the outside world so that children could live in peace. That was where she met her mom. Mom, Tina Mayuri, was a Class 2 caregiver at the facility who was always very nice to her. Be my real mommy? Yep, that's right. Hey, mommy! It was impossible to express with words how happy Kagari had felt. Being Mom's real daughter meant that Kagari had become her name. Kagari became Sheena Kagari. Hey, don't hug me so tight. You're so spoiled, Kagari-chan. Right? I can live with you, right?
The war orphan is so spoiled.
Sorry, it looks like you need a little more treatment.
That's right.
Oh, doctor. Kagari didn't know the doctor's name, but he was a nice old man who was always kind to her.
It's gonna be another 6 months, and then it's over. You'll just have to hang in there until then.
Months? When we talked about this before, you said 2 weeks.
I was referring to a physical wounds. Yeah, the post-traumatic stress suffered by children during the great bombing of Tokyo far exceeds that of the adults. And we've learned in her exam yesterday that she's still having nightmares. Oh, nightmares.
Is that true, Chan?
Or perhaps,
Is that, uh,
dreams.
that's not true. I don't have nightmares anymore. It's all fun dreams. Fun, fun, fun.
Calgary Chan, it's not good to lie. It'll only make your treatment take longer.
Oh,
You told me yesterday that you wake up with nightmares all the time still, didn't you?
oh my. I see.
It's proof that the memories of the bombing still exist in her mind as terrifying experiences.
I have to go and double check on this, but I'm pretty sure that Mayuri is the only lab mem that when we see images of her from the future that you don't actually see her face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, in the quasi future, I guess that's not really the
that
future. In the
wasn't.
World War III timeline, but
Yeah,
that's not really the future, yeah.
yeah.
Well, if we don't treat them properly, it could lead to irreversible consequences.
Right.
So, you don't mind if we continue with her treatment, do you, Mom?
Oh,
Patronizing ass.
Kagari Chan, let's do our best and beat the bad sickness, okay?
Ooh.
Mom rubbed her head. Kagri felt so at peace that she could cry.
Yep. What a good girl.
Okay. See you later, Kagari Chan.
Mom took her hand away, and instead the doctor took Kagri's hand. She was taken to the usual room. There was a white reclining chair, and next to it, some kind of mechanical system connected to a headset. um, uh, do I take this or do you take it?
I mean, I assume it's got to be Dr. Leskin.
You need to
Right?
protect your mother.
Yeah.
Protect this world. That's why you were born.
I assume.
She couldn't remember when she started hearing the voice. But by the time she was 6, whenever she was worried, uncertain, or in trouble, she could hear it. It was always kind and strong, and it always cheered her up. In Kagari's childish mind, she started to think it might be the voice of God. Since only she could hear it, everyone else said it was just an illness. But Mom was the one
Hmm.
person who believed her.
Heck, Mom. I need to work hard at my treatment.
Kagari's young heart was filled with the hope that she could someday live with Mom. Boy. As soon as she opened the door,
Great.
Tina Kagari was struck by an unpleasant wave of heat. It was early June, and this was the first day to hit summer temperatures. It was hot enough that just walking outside could cause you to sweat. But this small Japanese style room had thick curtains and the windows were closed. The room was dark, cramped, and there were so many clothes on the floor that there was no place to stand. It wasn't just clothes, there were all kinds of filthy things. Bags with half eaten snack bread still, half rotted food packs, plastic convenience store bags overflowing with trash, all scattered around the floor. And the area around the half naked girl sitting across the wall was covered in bandages and gauze soaked in
Ugh.
blood and pus. There were bandages tied around her exposed stomach and chest and limbs, but these too were soaked with blood. The room was filled with a sickeningly sweet stench, though there was no way to know if it was coming from the garbage or her.
It's not a great environment to avoid an infection, so either way.
The owner of the room, Kiryu Moeka, raised her head and looked at her, eyes filled with hope. M4, you're still alive.
Huh.
When she saw Calgary, who was still wearing her shoes as she came into the room, her shoulders slumped. Who are you? That's an awful thing to say to the person who saved your life. Moeka gave a painful cough and then spit up some stomach fluid mixed with blood. It stained her
Ugh.
thighs and the floor. Gasped.
Her thigh? Oh, I guess she's sitting up. Never mind. That makes sense.
Her wounds must have opened again because the bandages around her stomach began to red. She spent 5 months like this, no treatment from a doctor.
Oh.
Moeka had gotten into a gunfight with the Russian army and failed her mission at the rounder. She lost 2 of her companions, and her target, Makise Karisu's laptop, was all destroyed. They pinned the blame on her. She was wounded and almost killed. It was Kagri who saved her and brought her to the room. But if someone with a gunshot wound went to the hospital, the police would have been notified. For that reason, she'd never gotten any real treatment. Her wounds had become infected, and even 5 months later, they still brought her incredible pain. Her terrible fever hadn't let up at all, and it was rare for it to go from 39 degrees to over 40. But Moeka didn't seem very interested in her wounds. She was more interested in sending messages with the phone in her hand. She must have been sending more messages to her beloved boss. In the past 5 months, she'd almost sent 1,000.
5 months? That's, I mean,
Why? FB, why won't you?
FB was Moeka's boss in the Rounders, a woman who always gave orders to Moeka via email. Moeka worshipped her to a degree that far exceeded what could occur in a normal employee relationship. The shock of being abandoned by FB had hurt her many times more than her actual wounds. Kagari tossed a bag she had slung over her shoulder at Moeka's feet, along with 2 plastic bags. The backpack was filled with medicine that wasn't available without a doctor's prescription. Along with it,
finally.
the whole box of illegal drugs used only for the treatment of severe pain. Normally, these would be kept under strict control at a hospital where no normal person could get them. Both of the plastic bags were filled with canned goods and other things Kagari had chosen because they had the lowest probability of spoiling. You don't feel like living anymore. Tell me. I'll bring you poison instead.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that those opioids will do the trick.
But Moeka didn't seem to notice Kagari at all anymore. She was completely unresponsive. Kagari had gotten used to her attitude over the last, but she wasn't just going to send her home today. But she wasn't just going to go home today. She wordlessly reached for Moeka's cell phone.
Doing?
Moeka tried to resist, but evidently she had no strength. Kagari was easily able to grab the phone. It was covered in blood and pus, but
Ugh.
Kagari forced it into her pocket without hesitation.
Icky.
Get back.
So you get hepatitis.
Moeka started crawling towards her. It was like something out of a zombie movie. Get the wrong idea. You've got new orders from FB. Moeka
Might
froze.
work.
FB.
Yeah. Take it. Kagari took another cell phone out from her pocket. It was the same Japanese cell phone that Moeka had been using. It's the dirt and bloodstains.
Checks out. Yeah.
The phone you've been
Gotta
using is
recreate
under
this.
surveillance by the Russians and Americans, so she can't use it. So from now on, your orders will come in.
Moeka reached a trembling
Weird, they're
hand.
calling it FB's her now.
Moeka reached a trembling hand out towards the phone. In an instant, she snatched it away and clutched it to her chest like it was her own child.
Oh, you sent me messages?
I have some already. Moeka quickly opened the screen on her phone. When she saw the words on the screen, tears started to flow down her face. M4, my beloved daughter. It must have been so hard for you. I know it was hard for me, but your failure was unfortunate. But I'm very glad you're alive. Get better and wait for my next message, okay? This time, complete your mission successfully and regain my trust.
I believe in you from the bottom of my heart, my beloved daughter from FB.
Truly, obviously, and clearly a definitely real message from the
Uh,
actual
yeah, I could see Tanuji writing this.
Uh-huh. That's what I was thinking too, is like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Maybe she thought FB was she before, and I'm just misremembering that.
Well,
Or there's some timeline shift happening.
Well, all Kagri knows is that Moeka thinks FB is a woman. That's why Kagri said FB
Okay.
woman. Kagri has no idea who FB is,
Okay.
and I don't think that's
Gotcha.
FB writing that message.
Well, yeah, that I feel
Yeah.
confident about regardless. But like, yeah, every time we jump to a new whatever, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Everything could be different technically.
You didn't need to read it aloud.
Of course, this message wasn't from FB. Kagri had written it herself. Keep someone at the brink of death for 5 months, then give them exactly what they want as bait, and you can easily put anyone under your control. Kagri did this well. The life suddenly returned to Moeka's face, spilled out the contents of Kagri's backpack like a woman possessed. I want to get better. FB's trust. Tried him for. Kagri smiled, satisfied, and knelt down in front of her. I'll treat you. Take off these bandages. When Kagari left the apartment to set, she spent several hours treating Moeka's wounds. Her hand still smelled of medicine. It wouldn't go away for days, possibly. She sighed and put on her full-face motorcycle helmet, then went out to the parking lot and got on her bike. I wonder if God soon whispered. I'll wait!
Exactly. Yes.
He took off on her motorcycle.
Wait, shit. What is the song that's playing when he goes on to the bike ride? Hold on. Damn it.
It was almost July. The rainy season hadn't been that bad this year, and what little remained of it had already disappeared. And also, this is stuff we already know ahead of time. But according to Suzuha,
Take My Breath Away.
Take My Breath Away,
is
yeah.
the song that's playing when he's on the motorcycle ride over to her house. That's what I was thinking. Like, oh my god! Like, wait, hang on, take my breath away. Like, anyway.
Yeah, it is June now, and according to Suzuha, we got less than a month before the time machine can no longer be used. Change the world line. Temperature-wise, summer had come a long time ago. In other words, it had almost been a year happened. And then, one Saturday afternoon, if I stayed home, not only would it be hot, but Dad would be on my case about helping with the family business. To get away, I'd come to the area around Kabukaru Station. A year ago, I could have gone to the lab, but with Suzuha living there now, I'd mostly stopped going. But that meant it was hard to find a place to study on my days off. It was too much trouble to go to the university. And the classrooms probably weren't open on weekends anyway. After a lot of research, I settled on spending my free days visiting this cafe near my parents' home and spending a few hours there. In fact, a lot of the other patrons did the same thing I did, buying a single cup of coffee and sitting there for hours on end. Some brought books, others brought computers. I chuckled to myself as I realized that I joined the ranks of the other normies. Realized as soon as I said normies, Daru would text me. Oh, nope, it's Mayuri. Where are you now? Oh, the usual cafe, right? I just went to your place and you weren't home. Did my dad make a nuisance of himself again? It's okay, he gave me some barley tea. I have to go shopping. Will you come with me? Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'll leave now. Wait for me. So she went to my house.
Parents.
My family's business was called the Okabe Greengrocer. It was a beat up old store located in a rundown shopping shopping street. This place was almost 40 years old. I really wanted them to rebuild it. Phew.
You paying for that? Akabe?
My
Huh?
my mind had wandered. Mayuri was going to be here in less than 15 minutes, so maybe it was time to call it a day. I worked pretty hard during the morning, so it wasn't too bad. I was a little surprised at how hard I'd been working lately. Feel how having a goal gave me energy. I needed to get to Victor Condria University as soon as I could. Condria. And also, it's been 6 months since Maho left. I was still in contact with Maho via email and chat. She was evidently busy with the research because she was always sleepy. I took out my phone, found myself looking for a certain icon on the home screen. But of course, I deleted it myself 6 months ago. Was Karisu doing well? Knowing her, she was probably coming up with some complicated theory or teasing Maho. It was also possible that she was visiting 4chan and hiding it from Maho. That's right, Karisu had internet access. So it would make sense if she accessed it. But given that, could Amadeus post on message boards? Karisu had spent a lot of effort last summer trying to argue with John Tider on 4chan. That happened in the Alpha World line, though. Still, it meant that she was okay with posting. So there was a chance that Karisu was doing the same thing. And I know her screen name. If Amadeus hadn't even temporary access to the network, then just maybe I opened the web browser on my smartphone without really expecting much. I ran a search for the nickname I knew I'd never forget. Kuri Gohan. It was the handle that Karisu had. Oh, I spoke without thinking. I bowed my head a little towards the other customers who were staring at me coldly. I looked back at my smartphone. Amazingly, the
Cultural
search turned
norms
up.
in Japan are so like I get, polite. I'm not, but it's crazy how quiet you're expected to be in public in certain situations or whatever, or like the norm, like subways and
Yeah.
like places like this. Apparently, it's like library, but everywhere. Like what? Okay. Mm.
Amazingly, search turned up several hundred results. They were all common 4chan. Took a look at the dates of the results page. The oldest dated back to 2008. Those must have been written by Karisu, and never expected to see traces of her. And wait, did she really need to post this much? I didn't realize she spent this much time on 4chan. Her comments were spread out on a lot of different boards: physics, mathematics, science fiction, and of course the occult boards. For example, in the science fiction thread, she had passionate discussions about time machines. But unlike in the Alpha World line, she never came out and denied the possibility of a time. Surprisingly, some of her comments seemed to be quite the opposite. Not that surprising at all. After all, she'd gone through all the work required to write a paper on a time. Compared to that, her comments on the occult board were brutal. She would absolutely crush the arguments of anyone who dared to propose anything even the least bit unscientific. Supernatural phenomena like crop circles, poltergeists, and spontaneous human combustion, out of place artifacts, the Mayan doomsday calendar, conspiracy theories about how human DNA had been brought from another planet. She broke them down and refuted them with a cold thoroughness that even drove away her own side. If anybody dared challenge her, she'd leave them flat on the canvas. Just like Karisu. Her comments offered so little room for discussion, it was aggravating to read them. Did she actually enjoy all this occult stuff? She put enough energy into this that I couldn't help but wonder. Much. The first time I met her at last year's ATF, I'd gone through the same experience. But after a certain point, the Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha comments suddenly stopped. Cutoff date was July 27th of last year. Her last comments was a slightly too heated response to someone who was mocking Dr. Nakabachi's time machine press conference. Chest tightened with my chest tightened with the sensation of nostalgia and sorrow. I decided to close the browser, but I stopped as soon as I saw her next comment. I brought the phone closer to my face,
stared at it again, and the date of the comment was December 1st, and
Bum bum.
can't be. Reese died in July of 20. This couldn't possibly be. So who was it? Someone else who'd taken over the identity of Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha? Was it? Since there was no trip code, I couldn't tell for certain. December 1st was just after Maho and Dr. Leskinen had come to Japan, and also about the time I'd encountered Kurisu. After that, Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha had commented about a rate of once per week. Looked for the most recent. Wait, last night it was a discussion about relativity theory. Really did get foul mouthed when she was on 4chan. You're one of those people who think that the Michelson-Morley experiment led to the development of relativity theory. No wonder you weren't making any sense. Go back to grade school, fool. No point even talking to you, Lamau. But then I realized that she said something similar to me face to face. If this wasn't some imposter, if it really was Kurisu, what a miraculous and yet stupid story. Did Maho and Dr. Leskinen know about this, I wonder? Probably not. Kurisu wasn't going to tell them. Help but laugh. Did I try to make contact with her? I wanted to see if this Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha really was Kurisu. Then I came up with a good handle. Salieri's neighbor. Of course.
Is that good?
This was
all right, whatever.
Of course, this is a knockoff of Maho's ID. If Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha really was Kurisu, she'd have to notice it, right? Okay. Hey, I thought I smelled moron. It's true that the original purpose of that experiment was only to prove the existence of Aether, but you can't deny that it helped Einstein. As a result, you can say that it's formed the basis of his theories. Someone needs to go back to school, and it ain't me. There, it's posted. How about that? A little bit of Kyoma coming out there. I wrote something deliberately provocative, and importantly, I mixed in some mistakes. Not to brag, but I thought I knew a lot more about Kurisu than Maho did. If it is Kurisu, this will bait her right in. Oh, Karin! Back in her old uniform. Her school uniform.
Yeah.
At some point, Mayuri had walked up in front of me.
Duh.
Oh, you're here already. I've been so busy writing my comment that I hadn't noticed. I hurriedly put the phone away and stood up. Okay, ready to go? What's wrong?
Nothing. Let's go.
Mayuri and I left a cafe. Mayuri and I had met up and headed for Tokyo Hands. When I stepped inside the air-conditioned store, I felt refreshed. If it was this hot in June, I shuddered to think what it was going to be like in July and August. Oh, what are you going to buy? Oh, so what are you going to buy?
Well, we're going to make some signs for advertising. So I need poster board and highlighters and stuff.
Going to put a book at this year's Kamima?
Nope. It's for Okabe Greengrocer.
Huh? What did you say? My family business?
When I went to your house today, I talked to your dad about it. I said that Mayushi would make them for him.
Wait, seriously? My dad could be such a... There's really no reason for you to have to do that.
But Mayushi wants to do it.
You're sure?
Your mom and dad are always so nice to me.
Okay, well, I'll get you something as a thank you present then.
Really? That makes me so happy.
I took a quick look around and saw that they were selling a lot of the things you could use for advertising. I decided to mostly leave the purchasing decisions up to Mayuri. She spent quite a while deciding what to buy. Well, maybe because of all the time she spent at May Queen, her taste ran in the direction of cute and anime.
Hey, don't you think this heart shape is cute?
How are you going to use a heart shape to sell fruits and vegetables?
Huh? Well, how about this? Matsutake-kun is thick and sturdy. Why not take him home tonight, ma'am? Or maybe I might.
Where's Daru? Is
I
he
mean,
around?
Look, no, like, listen, hold on. She's got an idea here, okay? This is probably a good gimmick for your produce stand, okay? Everybody's poo-pooing it, but
Try my
go
juicy
viral.
ripe melons.
Right. Like you start a Hooters, but for produce stands, nobody will see it coming.
Daru didn't brainwash you when I wasn't looking, did he?
Huh?
How would I know?
Never mind. Miri looked confused and completely oblivious. Anyway, no heart shapes. It'll look like we're up to something we shouldn't be.
Really? I think it's cute.
It doesn't have to be cute. That's what I'm trying to say here. My original intention not to interfere had gone by the wayside. And anyway, if you buy any more than this, you're gonna have extras. My shopping cart was filled with cardstock of various colors and shapes. This will last us a long time.
You're right. Okay, let's go.
We went to the cash register to check out. But since it was a Saturday, the checkout area was overflowing with shopping carts. Since it was going to take a while, I sent Mayuri to browse the toy section, another floor. I knew they'd have some stuff from one of her favorite shows, Rainet Kakaru. Mayuri looked apologetic, but did what I told her to. In the end, I waited a whole 15 minutes at the register. As an apology, I decided to get the present I promised her. She seemed really happy as she stared at the keychain.
Another Oopa!
The mascot character from the Rainet Kakaru series. This one was greenish blue. I told her when she went over to the toy section she could pick out anything she wanted, and this is what she chose. Seemed pretty happy about that, given how many Oopas you already have. And that's a regular green Oopa, right? Not the rare one? The rare one. Wouldn't that be the metal Oopa? The most popular and rarest of the Oopas was the shiny silver metal Oopa. For example, whenever there was a lottery for rare Rainet Kakaru stuff at the convenience stores, the top prize was always a metal Oopa. Miuri told me once that they sold for tens of thousands of yen at auction. For some reason, Miuri was wagging her finger at me.
Nope. This is a green Oopa, but it's not a regular one. This is a green fairy Oopa that was in the movie they just released.
Come to think of it, there had been a Rainet Kakaru movie out in the spring. Had Mayuri sat in a theater full of little kids to watch it? The Green Fairy?
Is it okay if I spoil the movie?
I'm not going to watch it. Go ahead. I'm not going to go see it.
So, okay, in this movie, it's about a fight with an evil super hacker in the virtual world. The virtual world is a forest where all the fairies live. Super Hacker San is really strong, and Kakaru-kun and Oopa are in big trouble, but just when they're about to lose, the fairies come and save them. And it turns out the fairies are actually the flowers in the school garden that he'd always taken care of. They come all the way to the virtual world to save Kakaru-kun, and then there was this big shiny light, and then they combined with Oopa and the Green Fairy Oopa, and that's the Green Fairy Oopa. He's really cute and really strong. Miyushi thought it was so great. I love stories like that. The director is a genius.
I see. It was rare for Mayuri to get this excited about something. I took a closer look and saw that the design was a little different from the standard Oopa. I didn't know a lot about Oopas, so I couldn't say exactly what was different.
I've actually been spending a lot of time looking for this keychain. It's really popular, and so it's sold out everywhere. Never would have thought Hans would have one.
You're pretty lucky, huh?
Yep, and this was the last one. Glad I came today. I need to thank you and your dad.
Mayuri took the tag off the keychain, got her house key out of her bag, and carefully attached it.
Hey, Okran, Miyushi will treasure this forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. Please do. Just make sure you don't lose it 5 minutes after you get it.
It happened before, after all. Like the metal Upa I'd won for her at Roddycon. Miri had lost it no more than 5 minutes after I gave it to her. I wondered if she ever found it. I didn't really want to remember that time in my life, so my memory of what happened to the metal Upa was vague. We know what happened to it.
Yep, you're gonna lose it again.
Two of us started to head back.
I'm gonna work hard and make the ads for your shop, okay?
Oh yeah, you still got to do that. I've been thinking the job was done once we bought the materials. The real work actually began now. I help too?
No, I'm fine. Believe in Miyushi.
I'm a little worried after you tried to buy heart-shaped cardstock.
Fine.
Well, it's nice of you to make them at all, so I won't complain.
Oh, I need to call Mom. Tell her I'll be home for dinner.
Why not eat at my place? Or either Mom or Dad would try to get you to stay anyway.
I don't know. Are you gonna stay at home the rest of the day? You won't go to any singles parties?
I haven't been to any of those lately. Last fall, when I've been trying to become a normal college kid, I forced myself to go to as many as possible. But lately, I've been so busy with my studies that I hadn't had a chance.
I see. Maybe I will.
Mary took out her phone and started to type something when her expression suddenly darkened. Stopped moving. Wrong.
Just got a message from Kaede-san. Didn't notice it. Did I do Okarin?
Miri seemed like she was on the verge of tears. Did something happen?
Hey, Okarin? Told me before that Fubuki-chan's not sick, right?
Uki-chan? You mean Nakase-san? Not Kurishima-san, right?
Yeah, is that true? She's really not sick?
Yeah, I don't think so.
But
Miri showed me her phone. Fubuki-chan's back in the hospital. I'm on my way. Here's the location. Back in the hospital? Couldn't believe it I was seeing on the screen. Fubuki was at a different location than before. Oh, this is the hospital from Chaos Child.
This is the hospital.
HAH Tokyo General Hospital, yeah.
Yeah.
Fubuki was at a different location than before. This time it was the AH Tokyo General Hospital High-Tech Medical Center in Yoyogi. It was supposedly one of Japan's most advanced hospitals. According to what I read on the internet, patients with the new encephalitis that everyone was talking about were being gathered here for special treatment. But I also read lots of really bad urban legends about the place. I was a little bit worried about what kind of horror show I'd find there. But of course, when we arrived, it was nothing like that. It was very clean and decorated like a luxury hotel.
Mayuri-chan, Okarin-san. This way. It's confusing when they don't put the faces.
Yeah. Kaede and Yuki waved to us as we entered the lobby. Yuki had gotten a message from Kaede as well, and had evidently come right over.
there's Fubuki-chan.
She's fine.
Yuki gave Mayuri a soft hug and a smile. Kaede bowed her head apologetically.
Sorry to scare you. I was kinda in a hurry myself. I should have checked more carefully before I messaged you.
What do you mean? How's Nakase-san doing?
I just met her mom in the hospital room. Doesn't look like her illness has gotten any worse.
They just brought her here for more examinations or something?
Yes, that's what they said. So there's nothing to worry about.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Mayuri looked extremely relieved as Yuki continued to hug her.
People drive me nuts like that. Just fucking include not a crisis at the front of this or something, right? Like, oh my god.
If I remembered right, the last time they examined her, they said it was possible she had the disease, but as long as it didn't get worse, it wouldn't affect her daily life. They just told her to come back for regular checkups. The new encephalitis had arrived in Japan over 6 months ago, but the number of patients was increasing. Fortunately, there hadn't been a single casualty.
pretty sure that's no illness, though. I was certain that they were calling encephalitis was actually something similar to reading Steiner. One time, when we went to visit Spooky in the hospital, I had secretly investigated the other patients. I wasn't able to get any proof, but I found out most of the patients in her wing had, to varying degrees, memories of the same world line. Many people had memories of Japan at war.
Can we see Fubuki-chan?
They say they're doing an MRI to look at her brain right now, so she's not in her room. But it'll be done soon. Fubuki-chan's mom told us to wait here.
Kaede motioned to Mayuri, indicating she should sit down in a nearby sofa.
Once the exam is done, she's gonna come get us.
I let the girls sit down on the sofa and stood next to them while I surveyed the lobby.
This is an amazing hospital, isn't it?
Yeah. Is Nakase-san's family really rich or something? Staying in a place like this.
No, that's not it. Fubuki-chan's mom says that the Japanese and American governments are paying for a new treatment project. Imagine the American government paying for healthcare. It's unrealistic.
Something tells me this is about healthcare.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things about this game that, push the suspension of disbelief. It's going to be centered around this lab and a dedicated hospital in America, supposedly.
Sending an email to your mom in the past so she'll eat greens so you can get a sex change. I can buy it. American healthcare? Oh, okay. Nope, you lost me.
Absolutely not. What? What world is this?
I see. I wasn't sure how I felt about that. If I was right about what this disease really was, it was hard to imagine a bigger waste of money. You can be man, I guess.
Please give all the patients private rooms and try to keep the rooms as far apart as from one another as possible to ensure patients don't come into contact.
Aren't that many open rooms?
You need to do it anyway. If the parents ask, or if the patients talk, reading, it's fun. If the patients talk to each other, they'll start to share the dreams, right?
Sure, that's true, but
once a person hears about someone else's dreams, their brain can trick them into thinking they've had that dream as well.
Across the lobby. Oh.
Oops.
Across the lobby, I saw an old Japanese doctor in a white coat and a big man in a suit who was frantically trying to talk to him. Oh, I'd seen that man in the suit before. Actually, it was a man I knew well. Professor Leskinen. I hurried over. Dr. Leskinen, it's me, Okabe. He must have been wearing his translator because he was communicating with the old doctor in Japanese. Dr. Leskinen's face quickly broke into a smile when he saw me. Oh, Lintalo! Sorry, my voice was off. That was the translator talking.
You know how that goes. It's a frog in my throat.
His voice was so loud that everybody in the lobby, doctors, nurses, staff, and even the patients, turned to look at me. But Dr. Leskinen didn't seem to notice him as he ran over. He was like a giant American football player racing for a touchdown. Wait, Professor, stop! My cries went unheard as Dr. Leskinen tackled me and then pulled me up. And he switched from football player to pro wrestler, and he swung me up and down. I felt like I was a little child. There was nothing I could do to resist him as he flung me around. A moment later, he noticed the cold stares of the people around us and finally released me. Oh my, I'm sorry. I was so surprised. I got a little too excited. Dr. Leskinen bowed to the people around him and apologized. I guess you can be doctor now.
Dr. Leskinen, who is this young man?
The doctor that Professor Leskinen had been talking to was staring at me suspiciously. Oh, well, I wasn't sure exactly what to tell him. It wasn't like he was really my professor.
You seem to be a student. Which school are you with? If you're studying brain science like the professor.
No, he'll be a student at Victor Condria in September. I'm planning on having him come to my lab. Huh?
Oh. Yeah, I see. Victor Condria University, eh? That's a surprise.
I looked over at Dr. Leskinen questioningly, but he just gave me a mischievous smile. Guy. He really was such a kid.
This guy. Yeah, it's very rare for a Japanese student to be able to go there. I'm impressed.
Thanks. After the doctors left, I sighed loudly enough for Professor Leskinen to hear me. So, who was that guy? Oh, that was the director of the hospital. The director? You just told a lie to someone that important? Did I lie? I said you'd be a student starting in September, but I didn't mean this September. Oh, what? Do you think you don't have what it takes to make it to my school in the end? That's a little unfortunate, but really was like a little kid, completely shameless. But still, it was hard to hate him. I'm surprised, though. I had no idea you were in Japan. It had been 5 months since I'd seen him off at Narita. I looked around for Maho, but I didn't see her anywhere. Are you not feeling well, Intalo? Did you come here for treatment? Oh, no, I'm here to visit a friend. Oh, I see. Well, that's good. Well, I mean, it's not good for your friend. I'm sorry. Oh, no.
He did catch on. Yeah.
So, what are you doing at a Japanese hospital? Dr. Leskinen brought his face close to mine and whispered. People
Brain
around
science.
us couldn't hear that. That would be fucking hilarious. You've heard about the new encephalitis cases, right? The American government asked our psychophysiology lab to look into it, but they've hit a roadblock. The university ordered me to help with the investigation. See, so you're helping with the new encephalitis cases. Now, there was a word I didn't expect to hear. I explained that my friend was here because they thought she might have the disease. Is your friend named Nakusei Katsumi, perhaps? Oh, yeah. You met her at the Christmas party, didn't you? That's right! My interest in this new disease started with that party, you see. Both you and Katsumi collapsed, right? Right, actually. In my case, I'd been sent to that other world line. I met up with her again several days ago. She demanded to know why she was being sent to the hospital when she was just fine. See? Would you tell her it'd make me happy if she was a bit more cooperative? Huh.
No.
I actually feel really bad for both her and all the other patients.
That we're imprisoning against their will.
We and the Japanese team are doing what we can, but we just don't understand the results we're getting. Dr. Leskinen's usually chipper expression darkened. This man was such a ball of vitality that I hadn't noticed until then, but when his smile disappeared, I could see the wrinkles that had formed on his face from exhaustion. Must have been working really hard, like he said. To be honest, none of the doctors thought we'd have this much trouble explaining it at the start. What's wrong, Lintalo? Oh, well, is there something wrong? Oh? I'm not a medical student, so this is all outside of my expertise. I was just about to tell him about my reading Steiner, but in the end, I couldn't. My uninformed opinion was wrong. It cost the encephalitis patients. I couldn't just tell him what I didn't have any proof. And then his face drew close to mine again. By the way, Katsumi was saying something very interesting. Yeah? He said something about not being sick, about how she was actually experiencing another world in her. Huh.
Weird.
I told her not to say anything about it. Could she not help it? Bad. They might start to doubt her sanity. Well, Steins got a very vivid imagination, maybe. She loves sci-fi and anime. She probably just said she had the power to experience parallel worlds because she saw it on some show somewhere. You're saying I didn't say anything like that, but you jumped to that conclusion. If I remembered that, I used to say stuff like that too. I tried my best to come up with an excuse, but Dr. Leskinen still seemed concerned. But still, I was really surprised when I started participating in the treatment. One of the strange things about this illness is that many patients have the same dream. I'm assuming it's similar to asshole. But what do you think? I've never seen this before. From a brain science perspective, just don't have an answer right now. To be honest, unscientific is the word that seems best to fit. Like parallel worlds or memories of a past life, I see. It would help if you talked to Katsumi too. There are some things you can't say to a doctor, but that you'll tell your friends. Sure, I'll ask her, I guess. So, Lintalo, that aside, I have a question. Dr. Leskinen was looking over my shoulder.
Maybe drug habits. I don't know.
I got a sense of this at your Christmas party, but your girlfriends are really cute, aren't they? Huh?
You got mad games, son.
I turned around and saw that Mayuri, Kaede, and Yuki had all stood up from the sofa and were looking at me. When they saw Dr. Leskinen looking at them, they waved. So, are any of those girls involved with you right now? Yuki, Kaede, Mayuri, Luca, or maybe Katsumi? What? His words were so surprising I couldn't think of anything to say. Maho would often call this middle-aged man a mischievous boy, and that was exactly the look he had on his face. No,
You're looking for his sex pics.
I won't force you to tell me. I don't want to pry into your private life. But, well, I hope to have something to tell my favorite student. Huh? Dr. Leskinen turned to walk away before I could figure out what he meant. All right, Lintalo. I've got to talk to the director a little more, so I'll be going. I'd love to go around to all those girls and give them a hug, too, but I'll save that for next time. Tell them I say hello. Oh. Sure. Mayuri and the others came over to me as I watched him go.
That Dr. Leskinen?
Yeah, I knew I'd seen him somewhere before. I thought he'd gone back to America. Normal response.
Ocarin?
There was no way I
You
could.
all right, bud?
There was no way I could tell the girls what Dr. Leskinen and I were just talking about. After Fubuki's exam was over, we went to her room and listened to her complain, and then the visit was over. Just like Dr. Leskinen had said, she looked just fine. She told us she was ready to leave the hospital and jog all the way home. Me or any others were relieved, but I felt worried. Did I need to talk to Dr. Leskinen about reading Steiner after all? But how would I explain it? Might be a better idea to talk to Maho and have her explain it to him. I couldn't come to an answer right away. We said goodbye to Kaede and Yuki at one of the stations on the way back. Before we got to Ikebukuro, I remembered to take out my phone and open the web browser. I went to 4chan, eager to see how she responded to the bait I spread this afternoon. I put my hand over my mouth to stifle the noise. Mayuri had been standing next to me, and she was leaning over at my screen.
What?
I baited her, all right. I didn't think it would go this well. The timestamp was from just 30 minutes ago. I decided to respond immediately using the same name, Sally Airy's neighbor. It was Fitzgerald and Lawrence who based their hypothesis off that experiment. Einstein himself said it had nothing to do with his theories. You don't even know that? How ignorant are you, Roffle? You're the ignorant one. In a letter written before his death, Einstein said that he was aware of Michelson and Morley's experiments.
Yeah.
I posted and then reloaded the thread. There was already a response from her. I know that, duh. All he said was that he knew of the experiment. Obviously, Einstein used a Fizeau experiment and stellar aberration to come up with the theory of relativity. The time lag between the posts was just 21 seconds. It was kind of irritating to have her come after me so hard. It was as if she was insulting me as a person. Well, I was the one who deliberately written in the mistake, so I should have expected it. You can't just let anyone else win, can you? I see you haven't changed a bit, lol. Are you Mozart? Thread's other users were probably confused. Everyone except for her. Miri had been watching our exchange and looked at me confused.
You know this Kiri Gohan and Kamehameha person?
Yeah, there's someone I've known for a long time. I think. Now then, how would she reply to the nickname Salieri's neighbor and post what I just wrote? I was curious, but there wasn't an immediate response like before. The train reached Ikebukuro Station.
Okaran, we're here!
The train slid into the station and stopped. I reloaded the thread one more time before the doors opened. There was a very short response from Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha. Who are you? There could be no doubt now. This Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha was Kurisu.
Working at the Walmart.
Oh.
Not 98, but very funny.
It was a very hot day in 1998 when Suzuha said goodbye to Shina Kagari. She'd gone to get food and water from a local store, and when she'd come back and opened the hatch, Kagari was inside, screaming.
Oh, come on! How does this stupid thing work?
She looked inside and saw that Kagari was slamming her tiny hands down on the control console.
Can't have that. What are you doing?
Kagari shrank back when she saw Suzuha.
Nothing.
This isn't what it looks like.
Pro tip: that line never works.
Because it's always exactly what it looks like.
Even if it's not. Like... Answer me.
But I woke up and you were gone, and it was dark, and the lights wouldn't turn on. It was so cramped and scary in here. I tried to open the door, and then when I was fiddling with it, this happened.
Kagari started to cry.
Sorry, big sis Suzuha. Sorry, but
I see.
Suzuha relaxed her guard. Kagari had PTSD from her time as a war orphan. She hadn't fully recovered yet. Miri had once told her that she got very frightened in dark and cramped places. It would make sense if waking up in the dark caused a panic attack. And the time machine could only function with Suzuha's biometric authorization. Someone of Kagari's size wouldn't be able to break the console either.
Sorry. You passed out from the shock of time travel, so I wanted to let you get some rest. I'm sorry.
Suzuha grabbed one of Kagari's tiny hands to help her up, and then led her outside.
ow, so hot.
Kagari, promise me that you won't touch the switches on the control console no matter what, okay?
Okay.
To get it started, you go and rest. Have some food and water if you want.
Suzuha handed Kagari the provisions she bought, and then went inside and poked her head into the cargo space under the control console. She connected the IBM 5100 she stored there to a portable terminal she brought from the. By all appearances, it was an early 2000s cell phone, but inside it was a miniaturized quantum computer from the year 2036. Of course, future Daru had made it himself. When she booted up the IBM 5100, rows of numbers started to appear on the screen.
What are you doing?
Kagari was looking in from outside the machine.
Back the odometer so we can sell it at full. Did you study the year 2000 problem?
I studied a little at the orphanage. In the end, nothing happened, right?
That's what everybody thinks. It wasn't made public, but at the time, in a lot of places, in a lot of countries, sorry. At the time, a lot of places. Okay, not in a lot of places. I can read. In a lot of countries, had serious problems with because of it.
Really?
The issue was this computer, the IBM 5100. Had nothing to do with Office Space. It's got an old programming language on it, and the engineers weren't able to fix the program. In fact, they didn't even know that an important program existed that was written in this language. The race to develop the time machine was the beginning of World War III, but there is a chance of something that happened during the year 2000 during the year 2000 problems. Okay. That confused me because, like, during the year 2000 and then problems was wrong. But anyway, the divisions that resulted from that were a deeper cause.
She didn't expect a 10-year-old like Kagari to understand this, but she didn't feel like taking the time to explain.
I mean, you're kind of getting. This is graspable. Like if she knows the gist of what the year 2000 problem was, at least
This is an
like,
interesting
so
statement.
that thing, yeah. Okay. And the year 2000 is a special year. You see, all the world timelines temporarily converge here.
Wonder why.
Means that it's possible the year 2000 problem has a huge effect on all the world lines. Yeah, okay. So maybe it's like a fixture that they all started with a 2-digit time structure in computers. So they all have to run into that 3-digit.
That makes sense.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess. I'm not sure. It does still seem weird, but I think that at least makes some sense. Anyway, the world line, but it doesn't really, though, because, like, what about the alternate world lines where they don't come up with the concept of a leap year or the calendar's different? You know what I mean? Like any number of, like, or the Earth's a little bit further from the sun so that the year's a little bit longer or whatever. And I don't know. Time's weird. Whatever. The world line in the gap that we're trying to reach, Steins Gate, is no exception.
You look down at the terminal connected to the IBM 5100.
So this is a patch program to keep the year 2000 problem from ever happening.
Right now, the terminal was converting the patch into the language used by the IBM 5100. The next step was to spread this program all around the world in the form of a virus. In the year 2000, problems that this era's engineers missed would completely disappear. The word
First, she would have to develop a company where you send internet to people on DVDs.
Yeah. The word connect appeared on the terminal subscreen. Oh, sorry, that's you.
Oh, I had my thing. Oh, okay, it's connected.
She'd been told that in Japan in this era...
You've got mail.
She'd been told that in Japan in this era, ADSL was still in the test phase, and the most normal users connected to the internet by low-speed dial-up using ISDN. But in major cities like in Akihabara, universities, labs, and some big computer companies were starting to use fiber optic internet.
In '98 already?
I know you're gonna look it up, but I don't think they would lie to us.
I'm about to, yeah, but like, holy shit!
Some of them were even using wireless LANs. It sounds right, if I remember correctly.
It's not like impossible. I'm sure.
I mean, it was rare.
It's not outside the realm of possibilities. I don't think. I just had no idea fiber optic was that. I would have guessed it was another 5 or 10 years later. I guess that's cool. That's a trip.
Suzuha cracked her way into one of those. Dad'd laugh when he said that with 2036 technology, cracking late 20th century networking security was a joke, but he'd been right.
If you change the future, won't that change the world we're in?
Surprisingly, Kagari had gotten the gist of what Suzuha had just told her.
Oh, that's right. I refuse to let that world exist any longer. So I've come here to reach Steins Gate.
Suddenly, the uneasy look on Kagari's face vanished. It was as if her soul had left its body. Suddenly, her face was expressionless.
Voice. You can hear God's voice.
Kagari?
You can't do that. It's not right. You can't do that, Big Suzuha. You can't.
Kagari was acting strangely. Suspiciously, Suzuha reached her hand out. But she slipped past Suzuha's hand, and quicker than any child should be able to move, she slammed her shoulder straight into Suzuha's body. Suzuha was caught completely off guard. That's how fast it was. Kagari's shoulders hit her in the solar plexus.
It's such a weird. I
Oh.
don't know. It's a good spot. That's part of
Yeah.
the saying.
I don't know
solar
what it is about the
plexus,
science adventure series and solar plexuses, but man, I love it.
It's such a funny, yeah, I know. Very funny. Oh shoot, did I miss it?
And it just She bent over and collapsed onto the seat. Kagari tore the terminal out of Suzuha's hands. The cable connecting it to the IBM 5100 ripped out, and errors displayed on both screens.
What are you doing?
Kagari didn't answer the question. Instead, she grabbed the backpack that Suzuha had placed on the seat and spilled its contents onto the floor. There were MREs, spare parts, clothes, and a semi-automatic pistol. Suzuha couldn't believe it. Kagari was going to try up.
Stop it.
She forced herself to ignore the pain as she jumped on Kagari's body. That little girl was fast, but another unbelievably powerful body slam knocked her back.
Here we go.
Something cold was pushed right up against her brow.
Holy shit, yeah. They were doing fiber to home and cable broadband since the late 90s.
Don't move.
Well, cable broadband in the late 90s. Fiber was earlier than that, it looks like.
Kagari's tiny hands weren't shaking at all as they clutched the semi-automatic. In a space of an instant, the safety in the gun had been flipped off. That's when Suzuha realized this wasn't just a temper tantrum. Suzuha was the one who taught her how to use a gun. That's why she knew that Kagari was perfectly calm.
Are you insane? Put the gun down now. Stop doing this.
You're the one who needs to stop.
What?
You can't change the world. You're not making sense.
There was no hesitation in her eyes. Instead, Suzuha saw only resolve.
Sorry, looking up the history of fiber optics. That goes back to like the 1840s when they like developed the premise.
Oh, wow.
Of like what would be required. It's like using refracting light through liquids at that point, not what we. But anyway, sorry. Do you want a war to happen then?
I don't know anything about all that. I just want to go back to my old world.
Then that's never going to happen. We've already used the time machine to interfere with the past. The world line's changed. There's almost no chance we can go back.
Shut up! I'm gonna save Mommy! You can't erase this world. I won't let you.
Kagari turned the gun towards the IBM 5100.
Stop. Mm-hmm.
She
Jesus, girl.
So the entire plot, heads forward. Interesting.
Before Suzuha could stop her, she yanked down on the trigger. Again and again and again.
Stop it, Kaguri. Please stop.
Then Kaguri jumped out of the time machine, and Suzuha never saw her again. On every night that passed, she remembered Kaguri. Suzuha had spent some time looking for Kaguri when she first come to this era, but in the end, she never found anything. But Hina Kaguri, who was now 22 years old, was here in Akihabara. Suzuha was sure of it.
Oh, Maho-tan. Hey. Or hey.
Haru was sitting at a computer next to Suzuha and talking into the monitor. The monitor was displaying a video chat screen. On the screen was a young girl dressed in slovenly fashion. No, a proper, fully grown lady. Looking rough.
Yeah, damn. Morning.
I guess time difference. It was 8:30 p.m. at the Future Gadget Lab in Akihabara. Meanwhile, Victor Condry was an hour off from usual due to daylight saving time, and it was 7:30 a.m.
Yaho-san, you okay? It's early. You probably just got up.
Maho was a mess. Her hair was never combed right, but her eyes were bloodshot and her gaze was wandering. The spots under her eyes were too dark for the little bit of makeup she applied to cover them up. Her cheeks were sunken, which made her look even tinier than usual. On top of all that, her skin was terribly pale. She looked like something out of a zombie movie.
The cameras that went to the moon used fiber optic
Oh,
cables.
nice.
Anemic Maho-tan for the win.
Normally, she would have gotten upset at Itaru's joke, but either she'd gotten used to it or simply given up because she said nothing.
How are things going there? I've managed to rebuild it to how it was before Okarin took it apart. I think it does most of what it did before.
Ooh, I wonder what what he's rebuilding.
Mhm. One can only imagine.
Itaru glanced towards the development room, past the curtain in the back of the lab.
Brainwave?
Right now, he was working with Maho to recreate what Okabe had called the time
Yeah.
leap mission.
It's not going well. Yeah, it's just not stable. Ends up being a normal microwave. I see. I wonder what's wrong with it. If we could ask Okarin, I'm sure things would be different. We can't do that. He'd get really mad if he even knew we were working on this. Uncle's afraid. He's afraid of the power of the worldwide convergence. It won't be easy to convince him. I'm now less certain about the the history of fiber as like an actual data transfer system back to that point. I don't know. I think that number is right, but looking at the history of fiber optic alone, it's not mentioning that. So either it was happening in other places first, which is even crazier, because they're talking about Corning Glassworks was involved in some of that. But
Right.
anyway, doesn't matter.
In fact, it had been almost a year since he first tried and failed. There was a moment of silence.
Wait, Maho-tan, are you asleep? What?
Maho's whole body jerked and she almost fell out of her chair.
That was close. I went back to bed before I left for work. You know, you're working too hard. If you get sick, it'll only slow us down, you know? I'm fine. And actually, after all this work, I'm still not as good as the real genius. I don't think so, you know. I think you're a genius. I don't need you to make me feel better. I've got all these hints about the time leap machine that Akabe-san told me about, and I still can't find the answer. How did she manage to compress all that memory data and send it to the past? Karisu managed to do it, but I...
Maho seemed upset. It was obvious even through the monitor.
This isn't the time to complain, is it? Is there anything else to report for today? If not, I'm going to head to work. There's one more thing.
Suzuha looked at Itaru.
About what you asked me to look into. You'd asked me to look into, whatever. Did you find something? Nah, nothing clear yet. I see. I've done some breaking and entering into a bunch of networks and taken things about as far as it's safe to do so. I'm not blaming you. Tell me what you know. No, if you want to start screaming insults, I wouldn't mind that at all. Dad, hurry. I'm running out of time. Sure.
Itaru opened up a different window on the monitor. He displayed one of the text files in it. It was a record of the information Itaru and Suzuha had collected.
First, the incident where you were attacked in the hotel basement. The cops say it was some kind of crazy cultist on a drug trip. But that's definitely a lie. A lie? Just like the police announcement said, he was an assistant professor at a college. Yeah, and that's fine, but I can't find anything linking him to the cult at all. I tried to access in public safety secret data file on the cult too, so I'm certain of it. So they're lying. If you look at 4chan, you'll sometimes see people who look like they're from the cult claiming that they're innocent and the whole thing's a conspiracy. Well, whenever that happens, the haters show up instantly and they flame the hell out of the guy. And the haters always have this really well-made fake evidence, digitally altered images and stuff. There's no way that's a coincidence. Really? I don't know a lot about this 4chan thing. Most of the big sites have agents on them, including 4chan. And they get paid like it's a business. So they do it 24 hours a day, from morning till night.
Called a bot farm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think actually, and it's funny, you know, well, funny is not maybe the word, but it's, you know, this timing, I'm pretty sure, what year is it? Is it
2011.
11. Oh God, I'm way late. Well, yeah, I don't know if Internet Research Agency is doing anything yet, but it's the Russians, so there's like, I don't know, it's probably still like FSB or GRU mostly, but
Yeah.
we've got them in play. Yeah. Lots of internet bots. Information control, propaganda. Politicians and bureaucrats use them to influence public opinion on the net. There are even companies that specialize in that sort of thing.
Prescient.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, this was not. We were talking about it then, I think, but I see. I can understand that. America has the same thing. These agents can change their IP, but they can't hide from me. So I did some research, and there's an insane amount of agents assigned to that case. It's the point where I have no idea where the money to pay them is coming from. I see. What about the attack on your workplace, Dad? Same deal.
The police had called it a fight between foreign mafias trying to expand their territory in Japan. The media never questioned the story at all, and even people on the board of the famously skeptical 4chan believed everything they were told. Of course, there was no mention whatsoever of Russia or CERN.
So I decided to post a thread where I pretended to be a witness and said I saw some Russian special forces. And wow, I was amazed. Talk about some serious try-hard trolling. I got pissed enough that I almost doxed the agent's real name, his company name, and everything else.
Evidently, he'd been really irritated. It was rare for Ataru to get so angry, or maybe it wasn't. Excited.
Maybe that's actually exactly his job works. In other words, pressure came down from somewhere to shut down discussion. That's Japan for you. A real free country, you say, from the USA. America's no different, is it? You got that right.
The two of them smiled at the
Oh.
joke.
Anyway, that's all I can do. I see. You've been saying that a lot. I say that when I'm not really awake, too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Right. That's enough. Thank you, Yahoo-san. You think you can get permission from from the lab to come to Japan? We keep sending requests to go as Dr. Leskinen's assistant, but they keep turning them down. Dr. Leskinen's here now, right? Yeah, he's researching the new encephalitis.
Since it had nothing to do with artificial intelligence, it seemed Maho wouldn't be allowed to go along.
But that's fine. If they keep turning me down, I've got ideas of my own. What are you gonna do? Don't tell me you're gonna defy your superior officer's orders to drop the case, and then you'll get caught by the bad guys. I've seen that hand tie before. Hey, Mahotan, say kill me in as frustrated a voice as possible. Huh? Dad.
Suzuha's hand went for her back pocket.
Sorry.
Itaru's shoulders slumped as he apologized. Lately, she'd been able to put a stop to Itaru's terrible jokes just by doing that. She wasn't sure if it was a good thing or a bad thing that she knew exactly how to handle him.
Well, anyway, I should be there before too long. Okay, tell us when you got a date. Oh, and Yahoo-san, if you're going to work, you should take another look in the mirror first.
Just before the end of the call, Suzuha decided to warn her. Maho stood up and walked towards the closet without turning off the camera. She vanished from view, but a moment later,
Yeah.
she must have seen how terrible she looked because she let out a very unfeminine scream. They relaxed for a moment after turning off the video chat. Suzuha thought back to the time before she became a time traveler. She did this every time she got off the video chat with Maho.
Yahoo Maho. Someone who helped build the time machine, huh?
It was after Maho had gone back to America that she'd volunteered to help Suzuha and Itaru with the time machine. That meant that when Hashida Hitaru completed the time machine 25 years from now, Yahoo Maho must have contributed in some way. But
I know I shouldn't say too much about the future, but there was nobody by that name helping you, you know? Huh? Really? Which means she probably left the team at some point. I don't know whether it was of her own free will or due to some external factor. But if nothing else, I don't think she was a part of the core team. Right, she didn't get a letter in the buttons or the pins. I see. Well, she's pretty handy to have around, though. I don't really want to say this, but there's a possibility she might be a spy.
Maho, nah.
What? No way. Not Maho Tan of all people. Man, that would have I wouldn't have seen it coming, honestly. Sorry. I just want you to remember that it's a possibility. Okay, now I feel like it's not. We're just supposed to be suspicious of it. I told you, the war of information that comes before World War III has already started. Either way, we can't let anybody find out the machine's secrets. Just make sure you're very careful about that. Yeah. So, how are you going to work on the time machine going forward? We really need Okaryn's help. That's the thing. I don't know if we can persuade Uncle Okaryn. I might have to do it by force. Who was it that already tried that and failed?
Suzuha pursed her lips. Even with a gun in his face, Okabe Rintaro still wouldn't get in the time. To be honest, Suzuha was out of options.
That's
He
really
stifled
it.
a
That's
sigh.
the only one that she didn't really, ask and then point gun. I mean, those are the two.
It didn't do any good to let herself get down.
I've exhausted literally all of my options.
All two of them.
Yeah, both of them. Oh man. Come to think of it, how are things with Mom? I'm more worried about that. Well, I mean, you're still here, so fine, right? I don't know. Maybe it's not Back to the Future rules. It's not clear. is is everything okay? I'm still gonna be born, right? Oh well. Is that more important than the time machine? Hey,
Suzuha stormed over to Ataru.
you can't screw this up, Dad. Yeah, Daddy's gonna do his best, okay? All you ever do is talk. You even wasted those movie tickets we gave you, didn't you?
She meant the pair of movie tickets that Mayuri and Ferris had
Oh,
conspired to give them at the Christmas party.
That was because that was because Okaryn and Fubukashi collapsed, you know? We were so busy with hospital visits and stuff that the movie left the theater. It's not like it's my fault. But I heard when they tried to give you new tickets, you turned them down. Who told you that? Big sis mine, big sis Rumi, obviously. That's because, you know, it's not very manly to make those two do all the work, is it? So did you go and do something by yourself? This isn't gonna work.
Maybe this was a more important problem than the time machine. Suzuha brought her hands up to her head.
Listen, Dad, I'm not gonna be around to lecture you like this forever, okay? I'm leaving soon. Oh.
Suddenly, there was a sad look in Ataru's eyes.
Don't make that face. We said we'd stop worrying about it. We promised.
For the past 6 months, Suzuha had been thinking about whether it was really right to erase this world. But in the end, it was none other than Ataru who pushed her to go ahead.
I'm sorry.
She couldn't bear to see her father so depressed, so she patted his broad back.
Don't just sit there and be glum. Send Mom a message. See if she's free sometime. And if she is, invite her to a movie. Yeah, that's way too sudden. But that's how texts work. They're all sudden. I don't care if it's sudden or not. Do it anyway. Okay? This is an order. An order? What's your answer? Sir, yes, sir.
Satisfied, she headed off to go take a shower.
Oh, but before that, I'm gonna hit the convenience store. What for? I actually haven't eaten yet. Probably gonna be up all night again, so I want to get there before it gets too late. It's text. You can send a text.
Still hunched over, he pointed towards the development room. He was pointing at the phone wave, name subject to change, unit 02, that was put together, but still undergoing testing.
Don't glare at me. I'll eat as healthy as I can, so please forgive me. Vanilla. Huh? I want ice cream when I'm done with my shower. Vanilla ice cream. Boring. Okay. I'll go buy you a lot of really top shelf stuff. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just one thing is fine. Sir, yes, sir.
That was enough to cheer Daru up. He took his wallet and ran out of the lab.
He's such a handful.
She had just about taken off her jacket. She had just about taken off her jacket so she could shower. But
Who's a her?
Tara had come back into the lab.
What is it? I found this on the stairs.
Tara showed her a keychain he was holding. It was a round anime character whose color had faded to a steely green. It was Upa.
It's the fairy Upa. Okay. I thought it was the metal one at first. I was like, what? How does that get here? But anyway, do you know whose this is? Big Sis Mayu's probably.
She leaned forward to take a closer look, and then felt like she was experiencing ooh.
I've seen this Upa somewhere before. Come on.
He'd seen it before? She couldn't really remember when, but her internal alarms were going off. This keychain was extremely important. Upas were common enough that you could find them anywhere. The plastic edges had worn down. The paint was faded and coming off in places, so there was no dust, stains. Instead, it shone brightly, as if its owner had put a lot of effort into taking good care of it. The chain was so old that part of it had snapped off. That was how it probably got dropped.
Where was it? I've seen this before. Did Mayushi show it to you? I don't know.
She stared at the green Upa in its hands. Then, in her mind, she heard a young scream.
Mommy Upa's keychain. Giving it to you. Take good care of it, okay?
Gasped. Feeling of indescribable terror raced.
This can't be. Cockeries?
That was when she'd last seen it. August 13th, 36. Day she'd gone into the time. That's when she'd seen this. It was older and more worn now. But the more she remembered that day, the more certain it became. This was the Upa that Mayuri had given to Kaguri. She'd seen Kaguri holding it and crying to herself many times before.
Kaguri, you mean future Mayushi's daughter? Yeah. Did you find her? No, but she knows where I am. What? What do you mean? She's watching the lab.
6 months ago, Suzuha had spotted someone in a riding suit spying on the time machine at Rodicon. Even though the figure managed to elude her back then, Suzuha was certain that it had Kagari. Ever since then, her careful efforts to defend the time machine had paid off, and she hadn't seen any signs of Kagari, but she never thought she'd be well.
No, it would have been obvious if I just thought about it. She's trying to stop us from reaching Steins Gate. She doesn't want this world to end. Which means she's watching not just me, but you too? Huh? Me? Well, I don't think your life is in danger, probably. If you believe what we know about how world lines work, you have until at least 2036. But she might come to interfere with your research, so we can't reach Steins Gate.
A lot of bad things have been happening around Suzuha, Taru, and Okabe Rintaro. There was some possibility that the final target was.
From now on, just be safe. Lock the door whenever I'm not around. Okay, got it. Even if Uncle Okarin, Mom, or Big Sis Mayu are here, don't leave it open. It might not help much, but make sure you use the door chain too. You know, Okarin and Mayushi are one thing, but if I did that while I was alone with Amane, don't you think that'd give her the wrong idea? I don't know. Maybe I'm not familiar, but that's wild to me. Obviously not from a big city. It feels like it's like, oh no, yeah, like you don't want somebody just kicking the door. Anyway, that makes her not. If that makes her not like me, my whole family could be in trouble. Hmm.
Suzuha groaned softly, unsure of what to do.
If you only gotten to be her boyfriend sooner, there wouldn't be a problem. Wait, we're back to that. We never left. Just be careful, okay?
Suzuha decided to keep the green Upa keychain. Softly ran her fingertips over it as she stared at it.
Hey, Suzuha. Kagari Tan's not related to Mayushi, but she's still her daughter, right? That's right. Could somebody raised by Mayushi grow up to be the kind of person who'd assault someone? Yes. I just can't imagine it. From what you told me, I'd expect her to be a kind, easygoing, and cute little girl. I wish that was what happened. Yeah, I thought that was how she'd turn out too. But now she's probably.
From what she'd seen at Rodicon, she could tell Kagari had definitely received professional combat training. It wasn't just the simple self-defense techniques that she learned from Suzuha when she, as she'd grown up, she'd been taught the cold techniques of a killer. There was no way to know
Written into her brain.
There was no way to know where she'd been or what she'd been doing ever since she'd gone missing in 1998.
Seemed to have that shit down as soon as she ran off.
But there was no doubt in Suzuha's mind that she was trying to ruin her plans. Suzuha sighed as she took her shower. Since it was summer, she'd set the water temperature low. It was barely any hotter than tap water. As long as the water was pouring down on her, she could feel like all the bad memories were being washed away. She slapped her cheeks with both hands and turned off the water. The small, tiled room suddenly became quiet. In the silence, she vigorously towered off her hair. This building was never intended for anyone to live in. Not only was there very little room, there wasn't even a place to change. It was small, and there was no windows, and the steam from the shower room built up, making it an unpleasant sauna in the summer. Supposedly, Itaru and Okabe would sit naked next to the fans to get away from the moisture. Of course, that was only when the girls, as well as
Rushibara Luka weren't around. But Suzuha couldn't do that. There were those huge scars on her chest. If she was careless and Yuki saw them, she'd have a big problem. So she always forced herself to change within this place.
Weird. Why specifically?
Because she got the scars because she took the bullets, or like her mom, Yuki got shot and the bullets went through her mom, and that's where she got the scars from, I believe.
That's right. Those
Yeah.
are from that.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's not that weird. I wouldn't want to have to answer that question
Yeah.
either. Fair enough.
This-
Not from Yuki. From anyone, but definitely not from her.
The second she left the shower room, she realized something was wrong. The lights were off in the part of the in the part beyond the curtain. The lab room was. She was sure that she'd left all the lab lights on when she'd gone. She didn't remember turning them off. She's still completely naked, flung open the curtain, dropped to the floor, ready to move. She could tell by the light from the shower room there was no one else there. She didn't hear any breathing, and she didn't feel presence.
Did Dad come back?
And then, when he left, he turned off the lights? No. Right? He looked around the room
Went to the shower.
and saw that things had been moved in a way that an amateur would be able to notice. Haru's computer desk, the sofa area, the bookshelves, even the mini kitchen, someone had gone through them all. From the look of it, the same was probably true of the development room. Suzuha glanced over at all the areas where she kept her guns. The closest was the sofa that she used as a bed. She wanted to have one easily available if she was attacked while she slept, so she had cut out the back of one of the sofa cushions and hidden a suppressed semi-automatic pistol in it. It was just a .32 caliber for self-defense, so it wouldn't do much damage unless you had a good aim, but it was small and relatively quiet, which made it the best choice for a place like this. Suzuha tensed all of her muscles, coiling like a spring, slowly moved towards the sofa without sound. As she did, she tried to notice any changes in the surrounding area. There was a small
Like light
sound.
showing off all the weapons around. The
Yeah.
areas.
There was a small sound. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's just like, man, you gotta tell people.
Oh, yeah.
that you're hiding like loaded guns around their house.
There was a small sound in the development room. It was a tiny, tiny creaking of the floor, to which you'd usually pay no mind, but that was more than enough for Suzuha. In an instant, she moved from quiet to action. She cleared the distance of the sofa in a single moment and quickly drew her gun. She held it ready and slipped into the shadow of the refrigerator. In this position, she could barely see into the development room. The room became silent again. This time, the intruder in the other room didn't try to hide their presence.
Try anything and I'll shoot. Hands on your head. Come out slowly.
Suzuha threatened the intruder in a low voice. The intruder seemed completely unconcerned as they exposed themselves to Suzuha's gaze.
Didn't read that in the press.
You must be pretty hot.
Yeah, like, oh, wait a minute. What's happening here? No explicit sex scenes, right? I was no. I believe I have read this letter before. You must be pretty hot wearing that in this weather. Why not at least take off your helmet?
The intruder was wearing a motorcycle suit just like before. Even the helmet was the same. The leather suit clung tightly to their skin, revealing a voluptuous and perfectly proportioned body. It was clearly a woman.
What you're looking for in there? It's in my pocket. You're
She
naked.
says as she's completely naked. Suzuha pointed to the entrance of the shower room. The shirt she'd just taken off was lying there on the floor. The girl in the motorcycle suit turned her head. Because the face mask was down, Suzuha couldn't read her expression.
You should know better than to drop that. Something Mommy gave you. Right, Kagari?
The second she spoke, Sheena Kagari was the first to move. She drew a deglossed military knife that she must have been hiding behind her back and closed the gap between herself and Suza in an instant. Suza pointed the gun at her legs and pulled the trigger, carefully aiming away from her vitals.
That's hilarious.
She heard the small pop of a suppressed 32 and saw Kagari lose her balance and fall. Or she thought she did, but it was faint. She only pretended to lose her balance. In fact, she changed directions and was heading for the shower room. It seemed her first goal was to get what she'd come for.
Huh?
After firing only one shot, Suzuha realized even a 32 should have more recoil than this. She fired again, but Kagari didn't flinch even for a moment.
Think? How?
At some point, all the bullets in Suzuha's gun had been swapped with blanks. That instant
Oh
panic.
my God.
That instant panic was all that it took. Kagari reached out for the shirt on the floor.
They snuck around her house and got all of her stash guns and replaced them with blanks. That's so contrived.
Kagari reached out for the shirt on the floor in front of the shower room.
No way.
Suzuha gave up on firing and flung the gun at Kagari.
There you go.
There was a dull thud and the hard barrel slammed into her neck. Caught off balance, she staggered before she could grab the shirt.
No, you just stuff something into the barrel and then fire the gun.
She could hear Kagari's voice for the first time from within the helmet. Suzuha jumped. She kicked the off-balance Kagari as hard as she could with her toned, muscled legs. This is no time to hold back. Kagari went flying all the way to the edge of the room. That had to have broken a few ribs. Suzuha jumped towards her to continue the attack. But with terrifying speed, Kagari left off the ground and charged at Suzuha. There wasn't enough time to come to a full stop.
Uh-oh.
A sharp blade swept by mere centimeters from her exposed abdomen. If she'd pulled back even a few tenths of a second later, the knife would have fatally sliced open her gut.
You bitch.
The blood rushed to Suzuha's head. Kagari was serious. He was planning to kill her. There was no hesitation in her movements. Suzuha leapt back and searched for something she could use as a weapon, but the other guns were probably no different. There was a good chance they'd all had their ammo swapped with blanks, too. It was even possible that all of her self-defense knives had been taken, too, which left...
Unreal.
There were several knives carefully stored in the kitchen. Yuki had brought them over to use in teaching the other girls how to cook, but Kagari had evidently noticed them as well, as she was moving to keep Suzuha from reaching them.
Huh. Looks like you've had a lot of practice. Hard to believe you're the same girl who spent all her time sobbing inside the time machine. I'm surprised.
Suzuha kept her distance from Kagari. She slowly moved around along the wall. Her competitive drive burned even brighter as she tried to come up with a way to overcome her disadvantage.
Here, Kagari. This is what you're after, right? Throw it out the window.
She picked up her shirt from in front of the shower room and took the green keychain out of its pockets.
What's wrong? Come get it.
Her fingers moved as if to crush it. She could see Kagari twitch. For the first time, she could detect a hint of emotion beyond the helmet. And in an instant, she threw it at Kagari's stomach. The keychain flew in a slow arc. She was tossing it to a friend. If something they loved was thrown like that, even the fiercest warrior would instinctively reach out both hands to grab it. Kagari was no exception. She carefully held her mother's memento in both her empty left hand and the right hand that still clutched the knife.
Think fast.
Using the slow arc of the keychain as camouflage, Suzuha ran at her in a straight line. Her right fist connected hard with Kagari's stomach, then her left arm smashed Kagari's head to the side. Kaguri's body fell to the ground, her right shoulder taking the brunt of the fall. Suzuha could hear the sound of her joint dislocating. The knife slipped from her grasp. Suzuha got behind her and mounted her, twisting her right arm mercilessly. At the same time, she slipped her own left arm around Kaguri's neck and squeezed hard.
I feel like the art from this sequence continues for a lot of panels.
She could hear something like a moan from Kaguri's throat. She could both hear and feel the bones in her arms and neck creaking.
Stay put. I'm not going to kill you.
But Kaguri picked up the knife on the floor with her left hand and once again tried to use it on Suzuha. Suzuha was forced to squeeze her arm and neck even harder.
Stop it, Kaguri. I understand how you feel now, but it's wrong. It's wrong.
But Kaguri didn't stop. If anything, she tried even harder to pull Suzuha away.
What kind of training did she get? Mind control.
Even in all the battles she'd been in, this much pressure on 2 different spots was enough to get even the toughest soldier to submit or fall unconscious. Terrified, Suzuha squeezed even harder. At this rate, she wouldn't simply knock her out. She really would kill Kaguri. But if she stopped, Kaguri would kill her, too. It hurts. It hurts. And then she heard a sad, weak voice from inside the helmet. It startled her, and she relaxed both her arms. But that was just what Kaguri had hoped for. The knife came very close to cutting Suzuha's left arm. What else? When she let go to dodge it, Kaguri shook her off and kicked at her hips with both legs. Suzuha was slammed back hard into the computer desk, and for a moment she couldn't breathe. She fell to the floor, and the printer and the monitor crashed mercilessly into her naked body. Ah! She forced herself to stand up, gasping hard as she did so. Kaguri's breathing was heavy too. Her right arm was pointed in an impossible direction and hanging limp. She wouldn't be able to use it for a while, probably. But her left arm was still holding the knife.
Or whatever. You've learned some dirty tricks, haven't you?
Suzuha glared at
not getting choked out. I don't know what the trick is there.
Suzuha glared at Kaguri's face. Not that she could see what it looked like behind the helmet.
Just to clarify, she's still wearing a helmet.
The two of them fell silent as they tried to catch their breath. The tension in the air was so thick that it was difficult to move a muscle. Sweat rolled down her forehead and into her eyes, but she still didn't blink as she waited for Kaguri to make her next move. It was the sound of the front door opening that broke their stalemate.
Hey, Suzuha, did I just hear a loud noise?
Suzuha felt a chill run down her spine when she heard Itaru's voice.
Huh? Why is it so dark? No, Dad, stay back.
She yelled at the exact same instant he turned on the lights. The sudden brightness was enough to make Suzuha flinch for an instant. Kaguri was wearing a full-face helmet, and that made all the difference. She leapt towards Itaru just a moment before Suzuha.
What?
Kaguri's black knife went up to his throat.
Dad. Yeah.
Kaguri spun around behind him, using Itaru's huge body as a shield. Suzuha staggered towards him, gritting her teeth.
Let go, Kaguri. Lay one finger on Dad, and I don't care who you are, Kaguri. I'll kill you.
But Kaguri remained silent as she headed outside the door with her hostage. And then in the next moment, she shoved him forward. Itaru lost his balance and fell forward towards Suzuha. Suzuha fell to the ground underneath his weight. Itaru just barely managed to support himself with his arms and legs to keep from crushing her.
Move.
Suzuha tried to shove him off, using a little more force than she may have intended, but Itaru was so huge it would have taken him a moment to get up.
Also, you're naked. You can't just run around naked. I'm sorry. There's laws. This is why I told you to lose weight. This specifically. What?
She was getting away. She somehow managed to crawl out from under him and quickly tried to follow after Kagari.
Sousa, where this?
Itaru was still lying on the ground as he tossed the naked Suza her shirt. He grabbed it and quickly put it on, then ran outside. I mean, it's just a shirt, though.
Yeah. Still indecent exposure, I'm pretty sure, depending on the length.
But when she looked around the street, the girl on the motorcycle leathers wasn't there. There was no way to even know she'd gone.
Got away.
It would be dangerous to run around trying to find her now. There was a chance.
Particularly without shoes or pants.
There was a chance Itaru would be attacked while she wasn't at the lab.
Was that Kagari-chan?
Itaru came outside as well.
Yeah, I'm almost certain. I see. So, this is how it's going to be with the two of us in the end.
The bruises and wounds were bad enough, but the pain that ached in her heart. All.
You know, I really did like her.
You might have to.
She's already dead. She was so small but so brave. She always did her best to protect Big Sis Mayu. And I taught her a lot. I thought of her as like a little sister. Yeah. But now, she's my enemy.
Itaru straightened up her shirt sleeves.
You know, Jesus Christ, you look like a slutty girl in an H game right now, Sousa. Huh? What? You're not wearing pants.
Suzuha was caught completely off guard. True, her t-shirt only came down to just below her hips, roughly the length of a miniskirt. Her breasts were almost completely bared. The shirt's hem was turned up, and she felt exposed.
Well, I don't mind age games with slutty girls, but and I don't think the whole naked except for a t-shirt thing is all that bad. You're being silly again. You could have gotten badly hurt.
But Itaru shook his head.
I got freaked out by the knife, but I don't think I really needed to be that scared. Unless I'm mistaken.
Itaru rubbed the part of his neck where the knife blade.
When she had the knife to my throat, I could hear it, just a little. Hear what? She was probably crying. Might have been the dislocated shoulder. Huh?
Crying? Under the helmet? After that whole battle with Suzuha? While holding a knife to Itaru's neck?
But why? So, don't you think it's too early to jump to conclusions? And
He tried.
did you buy me that vanilla ice cream?
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
The Irison. Like, good God. Yeah, of course. I'd love to eat it. I'm a little tired.
And then she almost fell forward.
What?
Itaru managed to catch her before she hit the ground.
Sure didn't sound like it.
For real.
Hey, Sousa. I'm fine, but let me rest a little.
That was all she had the energy to say. She closed her eyes in her dad's arms, and her consciousness.
Use this as a
Yep.
stopping
You
point
know
here.
it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look at that. Even transitions over. They could tell. They knew.
All right. Well, I had forgotten there was an extra chapter in there, but I'm kind of glad we got some more info.
Yeah, and it does seem like there's probably, like I was going to say, we haven't finished that chapter yet. And if there's like, some substance of another chapter and a whole other chapter left, then We at least have one more stream.
At least one more, yeah. I can
Yeah.
get behind that. But with that, we have to call it here. And we do appreciate you tuning in to enjoy this. I'm sure many people are going to be wondering why this episode is called Vega and Altair now, when that chapter never happened.
Clearly
But
skipped a beat or something there.
I thought for certain it was going to happen. So, oh well.
Just a vague reference to Abstergo and Corp.
There you go. But that chapter is coming in very soon, very quick. So if you want to see when that happens, the best thing to do is to join the channel, subscribe, notified when we go live. And then we also have a Discord too. You can come hang out with us, and you also get it gets posted there in case you forget. And you're like, oh yeah, that's I wanted to check that out. There's also a link to a Patreon down in the little doobly doo thing down there, where you could, if you wanted to, go and give it. You don't have to, but it's cool if you did, and even cooler if you just hung out with us. But that will do us tonight. Unfortunately, I will be unavailable the rest of the week, so Eric, you're gonna have to take it from here for Tuesday and Thursday.
Thanks, stuff.
But whatever you have planned, I'm sure it'll be fun. But I'll be back with this next Monday, and with confidence, I can say it will be finished. Whether it's Monday or not, who's gonna say? But we'll be done next week. But yeah, all right, we're gonna call it here. I'll see you next week, and I guess Eric will see you.